resist, Ukrainia. But that will pass in eventually. Not only have larger army and popular manpower reserves, I have the hardest, meanest, effectiveness, fastest, killingest, fightingest, resultantordest, greatest paramilitary group on whole world. Ha ha ha. Now watch it effortlessly take over your pathetic little logistics hub. Oh, it seems like that backfired. Basically, a brief summary of what happened with the Wagner group recently. They went from this part of Russia all the way up north to Moscow, and apparently now they're in Belarus. It backfired once, yes, but will it happen a second time? I guess we'll have to wait till season 2 to find out. See the Titanic, only $250,000. Well, I guess I do have some extra rupees to burn. Hello, good sir. I am Rich Pakistan Business Clay, here to see wreck of Titanic. The certified Canadian expert responds, okay. Are you sure submarine is safe? It looks like it's a metal barrel with a few bolts screwed in. Stop being a wimp and get in. By the way, is there a washroom inside of submarine? I really need to go pee and poop. Blah, 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 blah. By the way, no refunds. And something tells me that was the Canadian Ball's last words. Well, at least he was in the submarine too, I guess. Obviously, this is a reference to the submersible that cost $250,000 US to go down and see the Titanic. But yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't going to end well. Was this an Iron Lung reference? Germany, Russia is bring war to Ukraine. You must be helping to Ukraine. It's the only way to make up for being a no-no German. Okay, I think Germany's gonna be on board. Here is tank to Ukraine. More. Remember, you were a no-no German. Here is artillery to Ukraine. As no-no German, you spend millions more artillery on Ukrainians. Stop being cheap. More. Yes, I was bad. All weapons to Ukraine to prove to this fact. More. All weapon is gone. All weapon is gone? Ja, need more weapon. Now what? Now am really make you pay for being no German. What are you doing with that broken bottle? You are never hurts me again. Oh, is that Poland's whole strategy here? Use the fact that Germany was a no German in the 40s to make sure they give away all their weapons. Then once they do, Poland can finally get their revenge. It all makes sense now. I can't get this idea out of my head that the super militaristic state of Prussia, which made Germany pretty kind of loco in the first half of the 20th century, now belongs to Poland. So maybe that's why they have this newfound aggression. Regardless, I guess they still have to pay for their sins. Your body will collapse because of bad illness. But do you know ways to prevent this problem? First, give many rights to all people in the country. Second, you attack defiant people. Which do you choose? I choose collapse, says Austria-Hungary, as they've literally exploded into a couple different pieces. Austria-Hungary is nowhere to be found. I always make references how Yugoslavia was kind of this Frankenstein nation, but even they weren't as big as Austria-Hungary, and they might be the greatest example of a weird Frankenstein nation. And back in the day, just before World War I, they gave people rights, but they also didn't like when people were too defiant, which could have ultimately been one of the things that led to their inevitable collapse. Funny that Switzerland was included in this comic too, because I've also referred to them as a Frankenstein nation, on of course just a much smaller scale. Whether we're talking about their language divide, the different cantons, the faith divide, they really have only one thing that pulls them all together. But you know what? That's kind of the most important. By the way, if you want your own Austria-Hungary, you can check out a link to makeship.com in the description down below. I decided to give them sunglasses instead of 2 eye patches, so they can still kind of see. I gotta admit, I kind of feel like this is one of the cooler country balls I've made, just because they're such a rare cameo. One thing's for sure, they are very old. A bunch of really horrible American balls have gathered up to protest. Don't worry, my fellow citizens, I will introduce more Caucasians here to balance the race problem. Alright, you guys can come on in here to the US. Oh, those are different Caucasians, different. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. A few hours later, let's see how it turned out, and oh, everything's on fire and there's just chaos everywhere. Give back my son! Paw, you just added more aliens here, says this Texas ball. Dad, do you remember when I told you to stop using outdated race terminology? Yes, I absolutely see why now, cries the US. So obviously the joke here is the word Caucasians, which technically is supposed to refer to the Caucasus Mountain region. This is a thin strip of land smashed in between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. There's the Greater Caucasus as well as the Lesser Caucasus in the south. south. But yeah, the 3 countries that are smashed into this zone are Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia. Technically, these are really the only Caucasians, if you think about it, just in like a geographical sense. What a rare cameo from these countries. Poland, what is you doing? Poland is playing very scary game of submarine in deep ocean. Poland, where did you get that controller? It was lying around here. Why? That is the controller for our submarine. God dang it, Poland. Curve-wah, they respond. Another reference to the submarine or the submersible, but I think this is also a reference to what I said earlier, Iron Lung. I think the joke here is he's actually playing Iron Lung while they are pretty much living Iron Lung in reality. It's really creepy how similar that event was to this video game that came like 6 months before. Actually, you know what? It came a full year before. What real-life event will mimic a video game from the past next? One thing's for sure, I definitely want to be in a spaceship right now. There's VR, and then there's whatever this is. The Republic will be reorganized into the Primer Empire Francia. Oh, I really like the parentheses right here. So this is how La Liberty dies, with thunderous applause. Oh no, poor Quebec. There's 2 references here. One, a Napoleonic France, or when they went Empire mode, and then the other is obviously this is a prequels reference, Star Wars. Basically, we have all these French territories at the time clapping because they are now an empire. Also, this is the island of Corsica that is sitting next to, I'm thinking this is supposed to be Napoleon Ball. Of course, the French-speaking territory in America, Quebec, was not a part of this. They were still part of the British Empire at the time, so they weren't gonna like this too much. Does this mean Napoleon Bonaparte is basically Emperor Palpatine? He really should have gone into battle looking like this. Screams the UK. Meanwhile, these balls are in the background. Calm down, Britain. What happened, says India. Oil leak? Building collapse? No, even far more worse than that. We have the most hottest temperature in mankind history, and the temperature is high, like up high in the sky. We went and warning to my people of heat stroke. Meanwhile, all these other balls look back at them with even higher temperatures. I love that we have both Celsius and Fahrenheit. That makes my job way more easier. Thank you for that. No, our temperature is 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. How pathetic, dramatic, what weak sauce. I could wear a jacket at that temperature. Why are you all laughing? It's not funny, my people are in danger. Anyways, I'm gonna send them a warning about possible heat threat. 30 degrees is the highest temperature in my history. Meanwhile, the laughter gets even louder. It's like a chorus of laughter at this point. Yeah, there are definitely some countries that are a bit more used to the heat than others. Considering their latitude, it's surprising the UK can get that hot, but it's still nowhere as crazy as a lot of the places on the equator. I love how weather in general all depends on where you're coming from. Even here in the US, we have these same jokes, like Texas complaining about the cold, meanwhile the states in the north, they're just laughing. Big problem for the UK here is they have like no air conditioning on their island. The UK did technically have its highest temperature ever last year at 104 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's definitely not fun. Turkey, why are you in NATO? Why are you helping Russia? What incentives do you have to be in NATO? Asks Greece. So I can doing this. NATO, help, help, stranger danger, I am triggered, Article 5, strike this mofo down. Yeah, whatever, settle this nonsense yourselves. I am no stuck here with you. You are stuck here with me. I guess this explains basically why Turkey's in NATO, so they can pretty much freely bully Greece. Imagine if they weren't in NATO and they were bullying Greece. They'd be like the next Russia, basically. So there you go. If Russia wants to be able to freely bully Ukraine, they both just have to join NATO. Seems simple enough. Turkey's just way ahead of the game on this one. Russia shooting Moldova. Now Transnistria has popped out. Now they begin to fight. Time to shoot Azerbaijan. Here goes Armenia. And again, they begin to fight. Now they shoot Georgia. Georgia's actually got to fight 2 of them, but of course, still the same end result. Now for Ukraine, the eastern states have popped up. They've begun to fight. Wait, but now what? Oh no, there's only one more left. It's time to do what they do best. I think you're gonna have to start to fight. Russia is a master at getting other countries to fight itself. The only problem is when you run out of countries to make fight itself. Now it's time for you to fight yourself, Russia. We're all waiting, that's for sure. Again, a reference to the Wagner Group. It's actually a really good comic because Russia has been going around doing this to a lot of their surrounding neighbors for quite some time. Now that you mention it, I just didn't even think about it before. Divide and conquer always works, even when you divide and conquer yourself. Russia and Ukraine at each other's throats. Fighting will be the end of this planet. I shall bring an end to this. Bring upon to me your intentions. I have come in peace. Let us now break to the bread of peace and drink of water of the friendship. What is wrong with their eyes? I don't think this is going exactly the way they thought it was. Space chipmunk, repulsive, go home, alien scum, blah blah blah. Enemy are now unite as friend, peace on earth, success, cries the alien. I've said it so many times before, and I'm sure aliens know it too. The one thing that will get all humans to stop fighting is if we could unite to fight something else, especially something else from outer space, which is going to be way more technologically advanced than us. If aliens came, all humans would become like the greatest friends on Earth overnight. So I have hope that they will do that before everything just gets too chaotic. They probably know that's what's going to happen too. Who knows? Maybe they'll show up this year. Konnichiwa, what question do you have? It looks like it's a very kind of scary Japan meeting a Greenland, interestingly enough. Simple is Japan. We relatives. Howings, asks the Japanese. I is of stabby stab self too, as tears run down Greenland's cheeks here. I thought we always knew they were relatives just because of how similar their flags are. Greenland is just like, what do you call this? A Rubik's Cube, and when you solve it, you get Japan. I'm guessing this is a reference to how the Japanese used to seppuku themselves if they brought dishonor. Just I'm definitely shipping Japan and Greenland, that's for sure now. And big thanks to the patrons. I am the kidnapper. I oofed Drew since no one paid his ransom. This channel's now run by AI. Australia-Hungary. I'm Argentinian. $20 is a lot. Asher, 200, Normal, Chester, Caleb, Tiny, Reagan's A Nargin, Inquisitor, Isaiah, John Denver, KirinoIsBestGirl, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, Twickenhamster,